Saturday. I'm so excited to start this new year uh, going forward. So we're going to do a market breakdown on gold and US30. It's a new year, a time for basically realignment, new rules for ourselves. If you guys follow me on my IG, Nikki_Pips, you guys can follow my page. I just put a post on there yesterday for this breakdown. I'm going to start doing these market breakdowns on Saturday mornings at 9:30 Pacific Standard Time in the morning, instead of doing it Sunday evenings. So this is going to be our new time slot. So this will be good just because we'll be able to get the analysis out there and kind of see where the market is going to potentially move to. So yeah, so I'm excited. This is the first market breakdown of 2025, so I'm excited to get into it with y'all. So give me a comment in the chat if you like. Sorry, I'm brain farting. Yeah, comment down below, say what's up, show some love. But let's get into these charts. So we're gonna do look at news first, like always. So let me bring this up really quick. All right, let me do a quick test. All right, cool. So we want to make sure my sound sounds good. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and look at the news for next week. Share my screen. Let me move this over. There we go. All right. Let me adjust this real quick. There we go, so you guys can see me. All right, so let's get into the news here. So we'll go to next week. All right, so Monday, we're only going to look for USD. So we always want to look for USD. Put this closer in front of me. There we go. So we have final services PMI, factory orders. So nothing really there. We really kind of focus on looking for red folders. That's usually where you have the highest probably possible movement. So Tuesday, we have a little bit USD ISM services Jolt job opening. So this could definitely move the market. This is going to be at 10 a.m. So it's going to be 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then Wednesday we have NFP and unemployment claims, so pre-market. So definitely got to watch out for that. We have FOMC at 2 o'clock. So this is definitely going to move the market for sure. So definitely got to watch out for that. Thursday, we have a couple USDs on here, but nothing worth really looking at. And then Friday, we have average hourly earnings and the NFP again. So Wednesday and Friday are going to be kind of our key days that we want to watch out for. So there's going to be a lot of movement in the market, a lot of volatility. So that's an area or a day where we can actually capitalize on profits. So that's pretty much it for for the week for news next week. So let's go ahead and look at the charts. All right, so we got gold here. Maximize this quick. All right, so we can see pretty much from Thursday on, we kind of had a dip. So let's go on the weekly here. So we can see we definitely had a pullback somewhere. So let's see, back in November and yeah, pretty much November, we literally had a huge push down and then it basically retraced all the way back up. And then now we've been having a push back down ever since the end of November. So we had a huge spike in the beginning of December, came all the way up to about 2760, and then we've had a pullback ever since. So the way it's looking now is we do have kind of a doji, a bullish doji here, which it looks like it could fill because it closed at the top here at around 2654. So because we did have a huge push down, we could see some upward movement going forward into this next week. So because it did push all the way down here, but it couldn't break this previous candle here. So it pulled all the way down to about 2608 and then pulled all the way back up to, again, 2654. So, so actually it came all the way back up to 2681, and then of course it closed at the 2654 range. So nonetheless, we could see some still continued forward movement. So because again, if we look at the overall trend here, and that's why we're on the weekly to begin with, we've pretty much had a bullish run here. So we did fall into a little bit of consolidation, which we're technically kind of in right now. So we do need to see some type of movement either upwards or downwards. So because we've kind of been like pushing down a little bit, and then right now I think this is going to be a change to continue to push up. So we can kind of make some possible all-time highs. So because we haven't tapped into this level here, 2802, 2804, since back in November, or October actually. So we haven't hit an all-time high since the end of October. So hopefully we can do that in the next coming months. So we'll clear out all these drawings here. So of course we use a weekly just for, of course, overall trend. So we can see that the trend is still bullish. Even if we're kind of falling into a little bit of consolidation, it's still bullish. So I like to do a top-down analysis. So of course I take my little text box here, and and then I kind of write in. So weekly is bullish for me. So that's what we see there. Then we go down to the daily. So this is where we do our kind of breakdown. So this is where we do our support and resistance, and our supply and demand zones. So, and also our key levels. So key levels are really important because that's where we kind of look where price previously went and where it could possibly go again. So as I look at this, like if I were to look at this, kind of in this range like that, so you can kind of put a line just like this, and you can kind of see we're kind of in this range, in this box. So with that being said, there's a lot of consolidation going on. So right now, I'm just going to put that we're kind of consolidated. Hopefully that's consolidation. My spelling is terrible. No, that's not right. There we go. Okay, so daily's consolidated, so daily consolidation. But still, again, this is where we put our support and resistance zones. So kind of where I marked up, that's kind of exactly where we're going to look at. So of course we have the high right here, and then we do have kind of an area right here that it actually tapped into before, but we're going to look at the kind of the overall. So this could be one area right here, but this is going to be our, sorry, let me get it here. So this is going to be our major resistance area. So major resistance at, and then we're at 2802, so we'll keep it at that. We'll literally just keep it at 2802. There we go. So major resistance at 2802, and then this is going to be our major support. Major support is going to be at 25. Let's do 2570. Actually, we'll do 2565. I like that number. All right. So we have our major resistance 2802, major support at 2565. So of course, where it is right now. So of course, if we blow it up a little bit. So here we had a push up, a pullback, and then a push up, and then a slight pullback. So usually when we see this, there could be a pattern going. So whenever it makes what's called the higher highs and higher lows, so this would be a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, and then a higher high. So typically it'll go like this, and then it'll come up like this, and then come down a little bit, and then like this. So typically when we see that, you can kind of move this over, and you can see that, of course, the previous area is higher than the last. So when we have a pattern like that, more than likely it's going to continue to push up, and more than likely target this area right here. And then, of course, possibly this major resistance area also. But it has to, when it hits these areas, it's either going to respect it and blow past it, or it's going to bounce off of it and then go right back down. So those are the areas that you have to really pay attention to. So, but the way this is looking, so even right here, we had a push up, a push down, a little bit of consolidation. So we had a push up again, a push down all the way down here, a push up, a push down, and then a push back up. So typically when we see that, again, we had some rejection here because it couldn't blow past this area right here. So I always like to kind of put a rectangle here. So of course this area right here, for whatever reason, it couldn't break through it. It just rejected it. So you had buyers here, and then the sellers kind of took over. So again, going forward, more than likely this coming week, we can see some push up to the upside, just the way this is looking. So granted, yes, we are in a consolidation. We're kind of in this zone right now, but it could very well come up to either here or here. So, and then it could obviously pull back down, or it could blow past. And then of course we can make some all-time highs. So of course, major resistance level, this is the all-time high right now. So we could definitely pull past that. So, which again, with news, I think it can definitely do that. It just depends on, of course, the US dollar and what that's going to do. So, and then just to finish off, this right here. So of course, daily was consolidated, 4 hour. So the 4 hour here, let me see. I want to say if I'm looking at just this area right here, I want to say it could be bullish, just because of the simple fact that it broke this area right here. So just because it broke that area right there and it's having a slight pullback right back to this area, it could very easily go back up like this. So probably can target these highs right here. So I could go like this, have a slight pullback down, and then come back up to possibly this area right here. So come up here, come back down, and then come back up like that. So it could definitely do that for sure. So we just have to see how it's going to play out. But the way I'm seeing it is we definitely could see some bullish movement. So because it surpassed this previous support area, or resistance area turned support. So I'm going to say that the 4 hour is bullish. All right. There you go. Weekly is bullish, daily is consolidated, 4 hours bullish. So usually the 2 higher time frames are usually what you want to look at, because that's kind of where the market is going to tell you where it's going to go. But again, you just have to react to it. So that's kind of the breakdown for gold. So we can actually look on like a lower time frame. Let me get rid of this. So of course, if we look here, if we zoom out a little bit on the hour, we're actually starting to make some forward movement up. So because if we go to the beginning of the week, which it was Monday the 30th. So this is where it started here. So I'll put a little line here. You can do a vertical line. Let's see, Monday 29th. So it started here. So this is where the week started. So first we had a slight pullback, and then we had a nice push up for the week. So of course we see here we had a nice push up for the week, and then of course Friday we had a pullback. So which is okay. You know, we had a pullback, which again I have a feeling it's going to continue to push back up. So I don't really foresee it to drop. So I can see us continuing to make some highs here. So because this was just a minor pullback. So that's what I see on gold, guys. So if you do have any questions on this, put a comment in the chat. But let's move on to US30. Oh, you know what? I noticed on here I put Euro USD. Let's US30. Sorry about that. Okay. So just so you guys know, this is futures. So of course it's going to show up as YM. So, but this is basically the equivalent of US30 on Forex. So we can see here I had some markups from last week. So weekly was bullish, day was bullish, 4 hour was bearish. So we can see what did last week do. Monday. So really we had a lot of consolidation because of the holidays. We had a little pullback down and then a pullback up and then a huge pullback down. And then we kind of moved back up Thursday and Friday we pushed right back up. So, but this is on the 1 hour. So we'll look here on the weekly. So we can see overall weekly it's still bullish. So a lot of this is still true. So we see the overall trend here. So let's clear these markings out. So we can see overall trend. I mean, it's clearly bullish. So even if I were to put this here or put it here, it's still bouncing off of this line. So it's respecting the trend, so to speak. So I think it's going to continue to do that even with the minor pullbacks, because that's natural. You're going to have pullbacks in the market. So let's do this breakdown really quick. So of course, like I said, weekly, it's going to be bullish. And then again, we got the overall trend. So the daily. So the daily, like I said, even though we had a slight pullback, I think it's still going to be bullish. All right. All right. So again, we're going to do our analysis. So of course, our support and resistance zones. So of course, we're going to mark here. That's going to be our major support. Major resistance. Major support here. So I'm going to actually put major support right here. Okay. So major resistance is going to be at 45. Let's do 45,200. All right, now we're going to have our major support zone. It's at 41,946. We'll do 41,950. All right. So we got major support at 41. This is 650. All right, 41,950 and 45,200. So again, if we look here, like we had a pull back up, pull back down, pull up, push down, pull back up, push down. So we have to kind of see, like, this is just a slight pullback right here. So I could definitely see it, again, it tapped into this area right here, which you can definitely respect, and then continue to push back up. So I will say a lot of times with gold and US30, they kind of mimic each other. So they're very similar on how they run. So definitely got to kind of pay attention to that. So I like these two areas right here. A lot of times, depending on what the market looks like, I can put another area right here if I wanted to. So, or actually right here. So, because of course this was a resistance area, it turned support. So, and now since it's down here right now, it's back to being resistance. So it could definitely tap back into this area, and then of course tap into here, and then these highs right here. So, but I'm just gonna leave it just like this, so it's nice and clean. So again, we could put another, if it were to continue to fall, and we look for sells, more likely it'll probably tap back into this area here. So this could be another area of interest as well. So I'm just gonna keep that just like that. So again, just like with gold, we're in this zone right now. So we consolidated, we pulled up a little bit, tapped into this area right here, which of course it rejected and pulled back up. Then we pulled back down, pulled back up, and then we had a slight pullback again into this area. So right now it's kind of consolidated, so we just have to make sure that it breaks out of here or breaks through this support area here. So before that, we can't really, I wouldn't recommend taking a trade until you actually see the direction and where it wants to go. So, but based on, of course, the higher time frames, which have a stronger validity, I guess I want to say, I do continuing to see this pull up. So just like gold is. So we can go down to the 4-hour here. So to complete the top-down analysis here, we can see that it pulled down here. So because it did that, it didn't break any higher lows. So again, I'm just going to say this is bearish. So with that being said, you know, we could possibly still look for sells. You know, if this, because I mean, we did have a pull down and then consolidate, pull back down, pull up, consolidate again, pull back up, big push back down, and push back up. So we just have to, again, we have to see if it's going to break through this area or it's going to break this support area here. So, because this is a classic example of a consolidation. So this is all consolidated right here. So it has to break out. So it has to break out above this and go like this. Just like that. Or it's going to push back down here and do this. So we have to see what direction it's going to break out in, and then of course we can follow that. So, but until it does that, then we have to kind of see what the week has ahead for us for that. So, but that's pretty much it for a breakdown on gold and US30. So, yeah. Right. So I appreciate you guys. Again, I'm so excited to be back with these market breakdowns. I'm going to be doing some more videos in the next coming weeks. So I know I've been telling you guys that I was going to put out some more videos. I know I haven't done any. I've been doing a lot of these lives every week. So I'm going to be putting out some more content there. So hopefully you guys can get some more value out of that, even for the new traders out there. I want to be able to kind of set you up for success with, of course, how the industry is now when it comes to Forex and futures. I'd love to do a video on kind of breaking down like how to get into Forex and what that still looks like, and then possibly getting into futures, which of course is more centralized, you know, so you have more regulated brokers versus Forex, you have unregulated brokers. So just there's a lot of kind of ifs on the Forex side, even though Forex is still, you know, in my opinion, is still it, as well as futures. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you guys can do me a huge favor, like, comment, and subscribe. I want to really grow this channel this year and just help and reach as many people as possible. But I appreciate you guys again. Stay tuned for another video and future videos as well. All right. Peace, guys. Have a great trading week.